it was always something that at first as a kid that we were always told we shouldn't be aiming for, but when we were naughty at school and things like that, the teachers always say you'll end up at the pit you lot. So it always used as a bit of a threat. My father, he was a fourth generation miner, and he was actually made in the mines, so he never wanted me to go into the mines. But I went on a visit there when I was 15, and I think that gave me a flavour. So even though my parents still wanted me to go into the mines, I think I was starting to get the idea that that's what I wanted to do. It was strange really, because I was waiting for a place to get into the RAF at the time. I was just on 16, and a friend of mine one Saturday morning said, I'm off down to Sharpton Pit for a job, do you fancy having a walk down with me? And I walked down and we went in to see the personnel manager. They asked me mate's name, they asked my name, and when I told him my name, he said, you've got a job. And I came away and I got a job and my mate hadn't. I don't know how that worked. I asked my father if he'd signed the form for me to go and work at the pit, which he tore up straight away and said, no way. And for several weeks I was trying to work on my mum to get him to change his mind. Eventually what I did, I actually got the forms and forged his signature. And for 6 weeks, they hadn't got in, they were absolutely bamboozled while we were getting up at 5 o'clock for to go and deliver papers. So my mother used to always say, when he gets to know it, he's going to absolutely blooming kill you. When he did get to know it, it wasn't very good at the time. What he did, he dragged me down to the pit, and it was quite funny really. He said to the personnel manager, "Oh, let him come here," he said, "You have." So he agreed that, right, you made your bed, that's it, you're lying it, but you're not going to come here, there's nothing, you can decide what you want to do. So we made a bit of an agreement that I'd go back to school, or night school as it was, and it went from there.
With my dad being a miner, and my granddad being a miner, I suppose it was a natural follow on. But with other ambitions on leaving school, I wanted to be a professional footballer. I thought I was really good at football, but all them dreams fell to one side, and we always found ourselves as local Pete. So that's how we started. We didn't dream we wanted to be a miner, but we are proud of being miners, and it's an industry that I've always loved working in. Some marvellous men that in it, from absolutely brilliant. Well, I started as an apprentice fitter at 15-year-old. So we had to do an application form. Then we went for an interview at Burnwell Central Workshops, and obviously I must have impressed somebody because I got a reply that I'd been handed a 5-year indenture as an apprentice mechanic. So that's how I did. I applied and I got a job.
No, I always suspected I would do. But later, as I got nearer to leaving school, then I was quite sure that I would end up being in mining industry. When I went to school, I went to grammar school, so it was a big expectation that I wouldn't go into mines. But as I say, I realised that I would end up there. Yeah. I just went and applied. Just applied at my local pit. When I decided I would go into the pit, my dad won't let me go to the pit he worked at. So I went to another local pit, just filled forms in and applied, and I got offered a position as apprentice electrician, which I was quite happy with, a trade. My dad had a serious accident when he worked at pit. He broke his back, he was off work for a year. But so he wanted better, what he thought were better for his son. When I decided I wanted to go to the pit, he was a bit upset, but he couldn't stop me, so he just said, I don't want you to go to the same pit I've worked at, I've got a good name, and he thought I might spoil it. That's what he said, but I don't think that was true. I think he didn't want me to go underground.